Trademark searches. Boy, you've probably seen some self-help legal services offering even a free trademark search. And at the same time, you might have heard that some large law firms charge upwards of $100,000 for trademark searches. Well, what's the difference? How do you know what you're getting? And why is there such a giant price discrepancy? Well, the reality is that there are several different kinds of trademark searches, each one going into different depths of the search, the report, and the analysis. And so let's cover what the different types are so you can determine what's right for you. The first kind of trademark search is called a knockout search. A knockout search is a database search of the federal database for registered registrations, as well as applications for registration, and even abandoned and dead marks. This kind of search can be really effective for quickly getting a vision of the landscape for your mark at a low cost and in a way that's pretty easy to understand. So whenever you see something that's offered for free, this is typically what they mean. And usually it comes with no analysis of what they find. They just take the results and hand them to you and leave it up to your own judgment as to whether the things that were found apply to your mark or not. So they're of limited value. But if you use a knockout search with an attorney's input, then you can get a pretty clear idea of the opportunities and risk that come with using your mark at a fairly low cost. So a knockout search has its place when used properly. Another kind of search is a deeper federal database search with a search report. These were more common before full searches became the industry standard. So a full trademark search, say 10 years ago, would involve a search person going to the trademark office, pulling records, speaking with trademark examiners, and preparing a written report and analysis of the brand that you're looking to register in light of the federal results that they discovered. It would frequently discuss the risk within a particular class, looking and in consideration of the goods and services that you're selling. And again, like I mentioned, the people that would do this kind of search frequently spoke with patent examiners before issuing the report. These still exist, but they're less common. Now, the industry standard is to do what's called a full trademark search. So yeah, this is kind of what put the full-time trademark searchers in Alexandria, Virginia out of business a few years ago. A full trademark search looks at all 50 state databases. It looks at the federal trademark registration databases. It looks at common law uses and even other uses, things like social media. Then those results are presented to you, and then depending on the level of work that you do with your attorney, you can have kind of this overarching evaluation of the search results. You might choose to pick specific registrations or common law uses to have a closer look at, and then determine whether your branding is distinctive in light of the things that were discovered. And today, that's really the gold standard of a trademark search and a report. And of course, because attorney time can be expensive, if you have a big search that comes back with lots of results and you get a lot of analysis with a lot of opinion memos behind it, perhaps you can see that the cost of that can quickly get into and approach $100,000. Why would you spend that much money? Well, you wouldn't, but you know who would? A big company like a hospital network might. Another type of search is called an infringement search. An infringement search is part of our E5 enforcement phase. It is a periodic, usually weekly or monthly, search of databases, and in particular the federal databases, where what you're doing is monitoring for other businesses that begin using a mark that you've already registered, or other businesses who are attempting to apply for a mark you've already registered. You don't want that to happen. Usually the cost of that weekly or monthly report is fairly low, typically around $1,000. But then the opinions that come behind it and the analysis can cost more, but that's, dependent on what you find. Now, the last kind of search to talk about is something I find interesting. It's called a logo search. 10 years ago, logo searches were almost exclusively by hand, where that trademark search person would go into the trademark office, they would look through an index of logos and spend hours flipping through pages to try to find that logo that kind of was described or supposed to look like the thing that they were looking for. Well, in the last 5 years in particular, supposedly through the promise of AI, we'll get there in a second, these logo searches have gotten more and more effective. Say 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we could do an electronic logo search and we would see some similar results, but some things might be missed. And now, as we're in 2026, as we make this video, we are seeing really good results from logo searches. If you do a logo search on a logo you wish to register today, it will be quite likely that similar logos, if they exist as registered brands, will be found. So a logo search is another kind of search, whereas the ones we talked about prior to the logo search are simply word searches for names and slogans. So those are different things. A logo search can also be used to identify design trademarks, like the Coca-Cola bottle. So if you're looking to register a design, one of my clients makes pet toys, and you might be fascinated to learn that what begins life as a design patent, when that design patent expires, based on prior exclusivity, may be eligible for a design trademark protection, which could live indefinitely into the future. So these are different kinds of trademark searches. Know which one is right for you. Again, the industry gold standard is the full trademark search, but make sure that you work with your trademark attorney within a budget that you define so that you get the result that's right for you.